Hey everybody, it's vlog number 2 and day 1 of liquids only before surgery. So far so good. This morning was the first kind of interesting thing that happened. I have spent this whole time really getting myself mentally ready to not have food and saying, as I said in my first post, saying goodbye to my favorite foods and really just being ready to not eat anything for a while. So I thought it was interesting that this morning when I started my first slim fast, I got briefly all of a sudden very hungry, and not just hungry, but like I just wanted food right that minute. And it was really funny because I think it's easier to say goodbye to foods when you're still eating them than it is when you're drinking a slim fast. And I think in that moment I realized there wasn't a single food that I was supposed to eat at all. And I kind of panicked for a second. And I thought that was really interesting. I was also like irrationally angry at the TV for having so many food commercials, which I thought was funny too. It was brief though, and I was able to put myself right back in the right mental place. But I thought, if anything, it proved that this really is a mental process. The nutritionist that we saw last week said that the bariatric surgery is 2% food and 98% mental, and I kind of see what she's saying, and I believe that that's true. Having the surgery is a tool, and it's not an answer-all, and you really have to be in the right mental space in order to be successful. So I thought it was interesting that my mind did that this morning, and I think it's going to be interesting to see where it goes from here, especially over the weekend when everyone around me is eating normal food and I can't. And I don't have, like when they say when you wake up from surgery, you're not hungry, so it's okay that you're not eating normal food. But I didn't just wake up from surgery. My stomach's not small yet, and I just had real food yesterday. So I am still actually hungry. So it'll be interesting to see how the weekend goes, but I think it'll be fine. The other thing I had an issue with was the slim fasts that we had were the wrong kind. You have to have a specific one that has only 2% carbs in it, and the ones that we had 24, and the ones that I needed to have 20 grams of protein, and the ones that I had only had 10. So 10 too little protein and 22 too many carbs was just too much to ignore. So we ended up having to get all new ones, and when Randy found out about it, he volunteered to run out to the store and look for them because he's amazing. And he went to Walmart just because it's closer, and they had the right ones, but they were only chocolate. And chocolate's the only one I don't have at the house because it's not my favorite. I'm not a big fan of it. And I told him, it's okay, just do it anyway, because I didn't want him running all over the place. And he was like, no, no, I feel really bad that you're going to only have the one option. I want you to have more options, so I'm going to go to Target. Good old Target. We love Target. So he went to Target, but they didn't have any at all. Not even the chocolate. They didn't have any of the right kind. They had some fast, but it was all the other stuff. And then he called me and I was like, just come home. Like, it's okay. It's just chocolate. I'll get over it. I'll be fine. And he's like, no, no, I'm going to try one more store. And to make a long story short, he tried like 4 more stores and none of them had it. And finally I called him to say, what's going on? Where are you? And he's like, I'm going back to Walmart. And he's like, you're going to have to just get the chocolate. And I was like, oh my gosh, I feel so bad. You've been running all over town. And he's like, no, no, I don't care. And he's like, I'm just mad that nobody has it. So he came home with the chocolate, and I had one that was actually not that bad, and even if it was, it's now my favorite food because I say so. So, but it's something to keep in mind that obviously in our town there are none of that kind, so we're going to have to keep an eye on finding some variety when we get the chance. And Amazon didn't have it either. We looked it up on Amazon, and if Amazon doesn't have something in my world, that's when you really have a problem. So it'll be interesting to see if we can find them other places, or if I'm just going to be drinking chocolate forever now. And the other interesting thing that happened today was just a briefing with my doctor. Just a real quick recap, the process of doing this is very long, and for me has been extremely long because you have to have the right thyroid numbers in order for the insurance to clear you, and I have for a long time not. My thyroid's been an issue through my weight gain and preventing me from losing weight even when I exercise. Like 5 to 7 days a week. There was a regimen there for a good 6 months where I was doing everything absolutely correctly and exercising every single day, and I didn't lose anything at all. But that's over now. We know that a lot of that was my thyroid, and that's finally under control. But the insurance won't clear you until it is. So that kind of held up the process, not to mention the fact that it's a very long process anyways. You have to go see your doctor. You have to get a psychologist to say that you're mentally okay to do it. You have to go to a nutrition class. You have to go to an actual nutritionist who will give you a diet, who you have to go see her a couple times, him or her, a few times, and they have to know and trust that you're going to be able to handle the diet, and that you're already after the surgery, and that you're already handling the diet now. And then they have to clear you, and you have to see a bunch more people and all that stuff. The last thing I had to do was see my doctor, and she had to give the final approval. And I was a little nervous anyways when I went to see her, but I knew that it shouldn't be too much of an issue because she gave me approval in the first place, so I can't see why she wouldn't do it now. But it turns out she didn't actually like one of the blood numbers, one of the numbers from my blood work that I did at the pre-op 2 weeks ago, and so she insisted on running more tests, which was not good for the hospital because they really want to have the doctor's approval a good week before the surgery, and time is ticking. It's now 2 weeks. Is now only 5 days away. So they were calling me and saying, we don't have it yet, we don't have it yet. So to make another long story short, today I spent most of the day on the phone, making about a dozen phone calls and back and forth, and kind of probably being annoying to everybody, just to make sure that it was getting done so that I could have that comfort for the weekend, knowing that everything was a go. And I finally got that at about 3:30, and it was a huge relief because it's the most confirmation I've got that this is actually going to happen. And there's always been a part of me that's afraid it's not. And there may even be a part of me that's afraid it's not going to happen all the way through until I wake up from the actual surgery. But this feels the most real, and this feels the most positive, and it feels good. It feels really comforting, and it's like a big sigh of relief that this is actually going to happen. And I'm excited. I'm excited about it, and I'm ready to do the liquids, and it really helped for being in the right place for the next 5 days and not having to worry about it. Before I say anything else or end this, I really have to say that yesterday I posted this on Facebook, and I didn't know if I was going to, because doing something like this blog is super out of my comfort zone and vulnerable for me to do, but I kind of believe that life is what happens when you're out of your comfort zone. So that's what I try to do. And so I posted on Facebook, and the response from everybody was super positive and super sweet and loving and supportive, and a little overwhelming for me that everyone was so nice about it, and the words were really kind. And I just want to say to all those people that you don't know how much it means to me, and I really appreciate the support, and I love you all. And it's things like that and words like that that make me feel like this is maybe a good idea, and this vlog is something I'm definitely going to do through the whole thing. And I hope that everyone else stays positive and stays inspired and has a great weekend, and I'll talk to you soon. Thanks.